Ginger, you're not supposed to be putting your paws on me like that. This is Ginger and Marley, and this is their roadmap to success. Now, we're breaking the rule. They're not allowed to be on the furniture, but we wanted to have good footage for this. There we go. I squirted that out, but all right, sit. They're squirting out of my hands like crazy. Sit. Okay, so Ginger here is a more insecure dog. Now, once she gets warmed up with you, she's confident. If she puts her paw on top of you like that, that's a domination move. So immediately stop petting her if you're petting her and she puts her paw on top of you like that. Now, I think she basically, a lot of dogs that are very reactive do so out of an insecurity, and I'm pretty sure that's where some of hers comes from. A lot of it is lack of socialization. And a lot of practice when she was a puppy. That's why it's so important to get your puppy in puppy socialization school. But when the dog's insecure, they just try to bark and lunge at the other dog as a way of trying to get the other dog to move away, or instead of a coping mechanism. So what we want to do is help her start to feel more confident, and we can do that by incorporating rules and giving her the structure that she will help her start to identify as being more of a follower. So some of the rules we suggest: rule number 1, she's breaking right now, not being allowed on the furniture, but I invited her up. And this is at least 30 days or as long as the problem's still going on. Then only furniture with an invitation and only for good behavior. So if I invited her up and then she started seeing somebody outside and started barking, she would have to get down. Now when I move them down, I move them to the edge of the couch so they feel like they're going to fall off, and then they jump off on their own. I always want the dog to do the work. Once they jump off, I would pet her and say off, so that she has a command word to get off the couch. And getting off the couch is a little bit of a demotion for her, so if we can get her off the couch and then give her a reward, at least we're giving her some compensation for it. Marley's like, I'm out of here. When I get any treats, I'm going to go look for more. Other rules: the dog has to sit and at the door before I will let them out. Now, if I go and tell them to sit and tell them, don't ask them. Let's say I say sit and Marley sits and Ginger doesn't, then I would let Marley out and I wouldn't let Ginger out. Walk away from the door, sit down somewhere else, wait 1 minute, then go back to the door and tell her again, sit. If she doesn't sit, this time I'll walk away for 2 minutes, then for 4 minutes, then for 8 minutes. So each time she doesn't comply, she has to wait twice as long before I'm generous enough to give her another opportunity. Down, there you go. All right, not being allowed in the kitchen around the work island when the humans are eating, not being allowed on this carpet around this table if any humans are eating here. Having to, while we sit at the door at first, eventually we would like them to sit and wait even though the doorway goes open and get a command word to go out the door. Now, speaking of the door, the guardians notice that they don't always like to come in when they call them. For a lot of us, the only time we call our dog out of the backyard is when it's the end of playtime. And so they're not inclined to want to come because they're enjoying having a fun time playing, chasing the squirrels or eating or scat or whatever it is. So what we want to do is we want to help them practice that. So what I had the guardian do is get some treats, go out there, let the dog go out and have a good 20 minutes of having a good time. Then walk out about 10 paces away from your door, hold your hand up like this with a treat. You see, from her perspective, it looks like I'm holding something. Now, I happen to have a treat, but if you always hold the treat like this, and when you hold your hand up like this, ooh, that looks like I have something, you'll have the dog's full attention. So when she comes up, ask her to come. When she comes to you, put her in a sit, and then lower your hand, let her lick it off your hand, tickle her under her chin, and say the word sit. Or in this case, I would say come. We put her into a sit, but we're going to ask her to come and reward her for coming. Once she comes, give her the treat, and then come back in the house, let her go out and play. Bless you. Next time you do this, walk 8 feet out, and then 7, 6. So eventually you get to the point where she'll walk all the way up to the front door, to the back door, to get that treat. And then you let her play again. Now, once you get to the point where she comes to you consistently, then when she comes to the door, give her 1 treat for coming, and then when you want her to come inside, take the other treat and toss it into the house, about 3 to 5 feet into the house. Once she comes in, wait for her to touch it with her lips. As soon as she does, then say the word inside or house or whatever you want to mean that means come inside. So that way we will stop her ignoring us and we'll give her more of an incentive to come to us and help her understand that just because we ask her to come doesn't mean the end of fun is present. All right, other rules that we are going to have is we're going to have structured eating. I just went through that with the guardian. So the dog's going to eat in order of their rank. Since she doesn't have as much of a personality as Marley does that we want, personality traits, we're going to feed Marley first, and Marley's the older dog anyways. Dogs eat in order of their rank. The humans are going to eat something first, a chip or a cracker. Then the dogs are going to eat second, and we're going to assign a different word for each dog so that we can communicate to get them to come and eat by just saying that command word using passive training. Every time the dog takes the first bite of their food, we say chow or grow. depending on which dog it is. Speaking of passive training, I'd like the guardians to do that. Every time she comes, if she sits on her own, pet her under her chin and say the word sit. Just sit, not good sit, not good dog, not her name, just sit. Again, try to pet her on her chin whenever possible, facilitate that nose up orientation, and avoid petting the dog on top of the head. And I also like the guardians to use petting with a purpose. So instead of petting the dog when the dog nudges or licks us, and we want to prevent her from licking, when she licks, we're going to disagree. I think limiting her access to the couch is going to reduce a lot of that. So once when she nudges us, or Marley is more of the nudger, she nudges and scratches when she wants attention. Instead of giving her attention, we're going to tell her to sit. When she sits, we're going to pet her and say the word sit. After a while, she's going to come and sit in front of us and prepay for that attention. Other little tips that we went over is always following through. If we tell the dog to sit and it walks away, we're going to get up and follow it. Like a mummy or a zombie, don't yell, don't do it aggressively. When dog finally finds itself cornered, we bark out the order sit again. As soon as they sit, we walk away. The dogs need to understand that the humans are willing to burn the energy to follow through, because that's one of the ways we communicate that when we tell you to do something, we are serious, it's not optional. I think the lack of rules has gotten the dogs to think that listening to the humans is optional. Another thing to do is not walk around the dog. If the dog is in your way and it's awake, walk through it. It needs to defer and get out of your way, and that's just a great habit for the dogs to get into across the board. Let me see what else. Yes, that's very cute, but that's not going to get you a treat. Let me see. When we go through the doors with the dogs, make sure that we go through the door first. If we're going to have the kids come over, or somebody come over in a situation that she might not be the best reaction to, we're going to make sure we get her a lot of exercise. Take her to somebody's house who's got a backyard and let her chase bunny rabbits. Take her for a long walk. I'd normally say take her to doggy daycare, but it probably wouldn't work out for her very well. Oh, it might be something you might want to explore, because some dogs are only protective and possessive around their humans. You take the humans away, the dog's fine. If you go to a great place like Dogtopia, where I like to take dogs and where we teach our puppy classes, they take your dog away from you. They put her around dogs where they know the dog's energy level and personality, and then see how they do. I cannot tell you how many clients I've had. They're like, I would never take my dog to doggy daycare. I would kill all the other dogs. And they take them in there, and the dog loves dog daycare. It helps them develop social skills. It helps them practice being social creatures, and that can help on walks and things along those lines. Now, in the videos above, we went through one video where we went through the focus exercise, which is a variant of counter conditioning. For Ginger, I would really like to see the guardians sign her up for our counter conditioning class, which is every Saturday at 9, 10, or 11 a.m., depending on what the weather's like. But basically, it's an hour. We have a bunch of other dogs that are also dog aggressive. None of the dogs play together, but they walk by each other, and gives us an opportunity to give them that positive reinforcement like I talked about in that video. Actually, I talked about more in the second video, or the technique, which is basically we're providing a positive reinforcer when something good happens. No, you can't lick me like that. I'd like to see the guardians talk to us about signing up for that class for you. That will help you tremendously. Let me see, the video we went over with the counter conditioning and helping Marley feel more comfortable coming around here. Now, the more that we feed Marley in front, the more that Marley's going to feel a little bit more secure, and she should identify a little bit more like a follower. And then enforcing the rules on a consistent basis should help her feel less insecure. And if she feels less insecure, just like bullies, a lot of bullies beat up kids because they're so insecure about themselves. So the more secure we can help her feel about herself, the less reactive she's going to be to Marley. Now, another little trick that I came up with is the guardians might want to, when they give them bully sticks or stuff like that, which they've kind of avoided giving to the dogs because they've gotten in fights, she usually finishes her first and then tries to go to Marley. Now, we need to intercede and let her know that we're going to protect Marley, and the same way we do for the food. So the dogs see, I don't have to protect myself, I can count on the humans to do that for me. That means I can let my guard down, I can be a lot more comfortable, more relaxed, I have less anxiety in her case, more confidence in Marley's case. So one of the things we could do is take a leash, run the leash around the leg of a couch or something, and then through the handle of the leash, and then attach it to the dog. The dog has 4, 5, or 6 foot of freedom, however long the leash is, but Marley knows to stay away from her. So this way, when she gets done with her bone and Marley's across the floor on the mat, well, she can't get to Marley, so Marley can enjoy her bone in peace and contentment. One other thing is Ginger likes to get very excited when she's about to get released from her kennel. Now, I have an exercise where what I do is we practice it, we went outside and came back in and simulated it. I open the door in a very structured way. I only let the dog out of the kennel when it's laying down. Now, right now, we let her out with a sit because she doesn't have a full covering in the kennel, and she doesn't like laying down on smooth, cool surfaces. So I recommend the guardians pick up one of the dog mats that fits its size exactly for the kennel. It has a little bit of a ridge around the corner, and that will, and then that way she can lay down anywhere in the kennel. So when we come home, she can't exit the kennel until she's first relaxes and communicating that by lying down. But eventually we'll be able to come home, open the kennel, walk away, wash her hands, change her clothes, do different things, be in a different room. She doesn't leave the kennel until she gets the command word to come or whatever it is. Look at this. Normally these guys don't do this sort of thing together. So Marley, we like that. I will give you a reward for that since we just gave your buddy all the rewards. And that's good counter conditioning for them as well. That's a great way to end the video. All right, this is Ginger and Marley's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it. Isn't that right?